Hi, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Laura. Hi, hello, welcome. Today we are doing I don't know if it's going to necessarily be like the last update, the finale, or just a revamp of my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. I have been a little bit sick of this project, if I'm being quite honest. I've just been not inspired with like the randomization and like really, I have a hard time not hyper focusing in my eyeshadows that I am panning. So I'm thinking about revamping this project, especially after talking to my soul sister, Haley. You all know I talk about her all the time, but we were kind of talking back and forth about how we're just both kind of burnt out on this project right now. And I think that the best thing for me is to actually just like revamp and kind of do something different with this project. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a revamp. So I'm going to go over like the items that I had, and this is 2 months worth of progress, or I guess, is it a month worth of progress? I don't know when I updated last, and if I'm being honest, like I have no idea. In my like panning notebook, I only have like updates for May, so I think we just kind of skipped updating last month. Sorry about that, but the nice thing is we have a ton of progress today, and I am going to actually just totally revamp this project. I kind of like set it in my stone, like after talking like the past minute and a half. It's about time. I'm ready to kind of create this project into something else and stop hyper focusing so much on like the 5 items that I'm panning, and like spread the love so everything looks loved, not just like drilling holes in shadows, putting that shadow back in the palette, putting the palette back in my collection, and then like being like, okay, next one, and then doing the same thing over and over and over. So let's just talk about the project, how it was. So it was a randomly selected eyeshadow based project pan. It was created by it was originally created by Alexi, and then it's kind of just grown and exploded, and people tweak it to their own ways. So I selected 5 shades, totally random. I itemized all of my eyeshadow pans in my collection. I don't think I'll ever not do that. I just think it's very useful for me. And then I also, like, I went ahead and I did something like this, where I don't remember who exactly I saw on Instagram with this. If I have them, I will put them down in the description box. But it's like a no pans left behind. So like I can cross out if I hit pan, I put dots if I've used the shadow. If it's completely used up, I color the shadows in. So that's really helpful for me. And I just kind of want to be able to spread the love a lot more than I have been. Again, I feel like I've said this 3 times now. I'm so sick of like hyper focusing on these and like not feeling inspired by my eyeshadows. The thing that's been inspiring me the most is like my build your own palette. So this thing has helped me feel more inspired with the eyeshadows that I'm panning in so many projects. My Pan That palette, the fantasy palette, this project, and then if I roll anything into like my Ditch the Discontinued or the deck of panning, it really does help me kind of like split the time wisely, you know? So without me rambling for another 5 minutes, I'm just going to talk about the colors that I had in, the eyeshadows that I had in. Here is I think I have a picture of the color story. If not, then oops. But this is the color story that we were working with. The color story we were working with was really pretty. It was very like spring appropriate in my opinion. I just was sick of it. I just was so sick of it. So the first item we had was ColourPop Cloud. I believe this was in for 2 months. Yes. So this was in for 2 months. And we did it pan on it, which was really, really awesome. I was doing a lot of like pastel kind of looks with like this color, a teal, and then like a softer purple. And I don't know if you'll really be able to tell. It's kind of hard since it's so bright and sunny out today. It's not even sunny. It's like overcast gray outside. So I feel like it's just kind of washing everything out in here today. I did hit pan in this, which I'm pretty excited about. This wasn't that hard to hit pan in. I was very surprised. The next color I had comes from my Nubian palette by Juvia's Place. I freaking love all of my Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes, and I'm very thankful that somehow the panning and randomization powers that be have been really selecting a lot of my Juvia's Place palettes for this project. I really appreciate that because, again, the formula of Juvia's Place blows me away every time. I had a very dark brown, and it was this guy here. I did hit pan in it. It's very, very minimal concentrated pan because I used it in my eyebrows. I used it as an eyeliner. I used it to deepen out like the corner of my eye at times, but for the most part, it was like an eyeliner eyebrow color. I just don't really reach for like these like really dark, like satin shimmery kind of colors. Just a little bit too dark for my liking. Just a lot dark for my liking, for like how I like my makeup to look. And especially lately, how I like my makeup to look. I don't really like super, super deep dark colors. I like a little bit of grunge, but like mostly I've been like really into soft makeup lately. So it's just like very weird how like the tastes change as the year goes by, or as like you get older or time goes by, you like segue back into like styles that you liked. You move on to different styles. It's just very interesting to me. The next item I hit pan in, yes, said hit pan in, is this guy here. This is my Dandelions Company shade in Corn Maze. This was a gift from Haley as well for my birthday, I believe. Thank you again, Haley. I don't know if you can see it in there, but there is a dip in there. I used it as an eyeliner a couple times, which was really pretty. You just kind of scrape a little bit off, and if you have any NYX glitter primer, that you can mix into this, and it creates like into like shadows, and it does create like a gel liquidy kind of thing to like make eyeliners. So I really enjoyed that, and this was really pretty for that. But yeah, I did hit pan in this bad boy, which was pretty darn exciting. I wasn't really expecting it. It was a little bit more green than I really wanted it to be. I almost wanted it to be like more of that like grungy kind of, like the color that I'm wearing today is this kind of like olivey green, and that's the kind of the color I wanted it to be. It wasn't. It was still beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, and I really enjoyed wearing it with yellow shades. It was really pretty, but I'm very happy that I hit pan, and now I can kind of like move on to something else. Then the next shade is this guy here. I didn't hit pan on it. I really didn't have any desire to hit pan in this. I don't know if you can really see. There's a smidge of a dip in there, but this is such a hard pressed matte sequiny kind of shade from ColourPop. This is called Take a Sip. There was no way. I think you can see the dip in there. There was no way I was going to hit pan in this, especially in like the 20 uses. So I used this 11 times, and I was like, there's no way that I'll hit pan, and I just really don't want to focus my efforts on a bright pink eyeshadow. I like was so over the bright pink eyeshadow, so I just kind of was like, I'm done. I'm not about to bother with this one. So didn't hit pan in that one. That's totally fine. So far we have 3 out of 4 pans. That's huge. Then the next one comes from my Natasha Denona purple blue palette, and I do take this out. It was living in this palette here, but I took it out to like put it back, and just we're refreshing. It's fine. It's fine. So the shade I was working on was Oxide, which is this guy up here, and y'all, I hit pan in that. I was not expecting to hit. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? It was very hard to see last night when I hit pan in it. I wasn't expecting to hit pan in it, but I was using it kind of, I was focusing on this after I hit pan in like all of the colorful shades. I was like, okay, time to just really focus on this. It went really well with my Subculture, the shade Roxy, that I've been like also focusing on the past month. So I would put this shade Oxide in like the outer corner, and then put something lighter, like this guy or this guy in like the inner portion of the lid, and then kind of blend that into like that plummy reddy kind of color. Looked really pretty. Definitely not a shade I would normally gravitate towards. Like these kinds of colors I don't like typically, like the very red plum tones. I just don't like them on me. Like even this, where it's like still warmer toned purple, I like that even like more. Oh gosh. But that red tone purple, not my favorite. My mom's calling me. Okay, so I just had to take the longest hiatus. I had to charge my phone a little bit so I could randomly select numbers. And then I took the time to actually like, since I want to do more of like a palette roulette kind of thing, I took the time to write alphabetically every single palette that I have. I have 36 eyeshadow palettes. That is not including Subculture, which I am panning, and that is not including my singles or my loose eyeshadows, because I do make a concerted effort to rotate those at least once a month. I try to like pull at least one loose eyeshadow, and then the build your own palette, which helps me with my singles. So I have 1 through 36. So I'm going to go ahead and open Pretty Random. Another way that I could have done it, I guess, is to, where did Pretty Random go? Is to do like the tiny decisions and like put all my palettes in there, but I didn't want to. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to do that. So I have numbers 1 to 36. I have prevent rerolls selected. So we'll just, it doesn't work for me ever. 23. How many are we gonna select? Let's do 4 palettes. So 23, 21, 18, is that 3? So 1 more, 13. So I'm going to pull those, and I'm nervous. I'll be right back. I have no idea what they are since I literally just wrote the list. So we'll be right back. So I don't know how, this is just like very, very random. Like obviously it's random, so, but it's just weird. So I'm going to go numerically down the list. So the first number I got was number 23, which is my Natasha Denona purple blue palette. So this guy again. I'm not really feeling this, but I'm going to re-roll for the 2 palettes, because then I rolled in my Nubian by Juvia's Place, and these were just in my Pan Those eyeshadows, so I was reaching for these palettes. So I am just going to re-roll those 2, because that's, to me, that seems like the most fair. Like, let's at least not have shades out of like the same palettes for the first roll in. I'm fine with the other 2. That's totally fine. So I'm just going to randomly select number 20 and then number 28. Okay, so I'm officially not rolling these in for this project this time. I want at least a month breather between palettes, I think. So that's kind of going to be like the rule of thumb. I can re-roll the same palette in. I might change that. I'm not sure. I at least want to have like a 1 month gap between rolling the same palette in. I just think that that's fair to give myself a little bit more love spread out throughout my collection. So I'm going to go from what was rolled in first-ish, because the first one was the Natasha Denona, the second one was the Juvia's Place Nubian, so we're not rolling those in. So the first real number I had was 18, and that is this guy, and I'm super excited. This was a palette that Josh had given me 2 months ago now, and I really have only used it like 2 times. And this is the, let me show you this beautiful palette. So this is the YSL Color Clutch, and this is in the Marrakech version. There's like 2 or 3 different versions of this palette, or this like style of Color Clutch. Really, really beautiful packaging, and I'm super excited. So the inside looks like this. I think it'll definitely take a little bit away from my Subculture palette in terms of like this like warm side, but like this side will be fun and like a good thing to use in conjunction with it. Oh, so I don't think I'll be able to hit pan in anything. However, I mean, we'll try. We'll just like use it for the month, and that's exciting. I'm very, very excited about this. I think I at least want to hit 1 pan in a palette, kind of like a pan in every palette, but I'm not going to select a shade. I'm just going to use the palette. Again, I might change the rule like month to month. I don't know. Like, we're just kind of shooting from the hip, so to speak, right now. So I will happily use my YSL new palette that I have. So this is the newest palette in my collection, and I'm excited to get some use and love out of that guy. Number 13 was the next one, and this excites me. It's my Urban Decay, or like what's left of my Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. And there was like this low-key goal of mine to like hit pan in every shade in this palette this year. So this will help me kind of streamline and fast track. There are 3 shades missing because 2 of them are in my Fantasy Self palette, and 1 of them is in my Ditch to the Discontinued. So it's always just living in my my Build Your Own palette. But I'm excited to get some use out of this. As you can see, I have 3 shades that have pan. I have 1 finished shade. I'm working to finish a second shade, and then I have 2 other shades that I'm working to hit pan in. So I'm probably going to mainly focus on these 9 shadows up here, and not really anything else except whatever is in my like other projects. So I'm excited about this though. I think that this will be a lot of fun. This gives me like obviously a pop of color if I really want to like use a red, purple, or blue, but then it gives me a lot of just like neutral, beautiful, kind of what I've been gravitating towards is more neutral looks lately. So I'm excited about this, especially since I have Subculture, which is essentially an all matte palette for me at this point. Having all of these shimmers is very, very exciting for me, and it'll actually pair really well because these are mainly matte shades, or they'll perform like matte shades. So having these in together at the same time, I think will be really, really fun and really fantastic actually. So I'm excited about this. So those 2 are my first 2 palettes. Then we rolled, obviously we didn't keep the 2 initial palettes, so we re-rolled 2 palettes, and I got number 20, which is this guy here. This is my Natasha Denona Mini Nude, and really I already have pan in the 3 shimmers in this palette, so I will probably only just like focus on this for the month and then go to something else. This palette, I'm not too worried about like panning a shade or finishing a shade or anything like that. I just kind of want to spread the love and like use things more often in my collection. So I am happy to have this. This will be like really, really easy for like quick, simple looks, and I'm always about that. So I will happily use this as well. And then the last number was 28, which is my Kaleidos Sashimi City. I labeled these, like all my Kaleidos, as like the subtitle of the palette. So not Futurism 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 7. I named them like their actual like palette name. So this is Sashimi City, and I'm super excited about this. I actually pulled a shade from this palette to use in my Fantasy Self palette that, maybe I'll just put that back in. Like, why tell you? If you don't know anything about the Fantasy Self palette, I highly suggest going and watching. There's 2 videos and then Haley's videos as well. But that is this guy. So, beautiful palette, and I'm so excited. These 2 like topper shades, this is like strangely similar to this, isn't it? Like terms of mattes. So I'm excited about this though. I'm like, these 2 shades are so stunning. So here are 2 colors in each palette swatched out. So these top 2 are from the Kaleidos Futurism 7, the Sashimi City. Then these 2 are from the Natasha Denona Mini Nude. Then we have a couple from the Urban Decay Heavy Metals palette. Gosh, this is so awkward. So this like tealy, and then this guy. And then the 2 mattes at the end are from the YSL Marrakesh palette. Man, this is so awkward. I am so awkward with this. So those are just a couple swatches from the palettes that I will be using for the next month. Let me know if I don't know if it would be exciting to see like a multi-palette bingo using kind of these and like Subculture or like my Build Your Own palette. Let me know if you'd like to see like a multi-palette bingo using some of these items, or just like dedicated videos from any of these. I know like this is such an astronomically like high priced palette. You cannot get this palette anymore. And then there's like 2 neutral palettes. So I don't know if that would be super exciting or not, but I always really enjoy filming like look videos. Those are like my favorite to film and edit personally. But yeah, that is it for this video. Let me know if you got burnt out with any eyeshadow projects that you were doing and just needed like something to refresh it. I think that this is going to breathe a fresh new life into my panning projects. Again, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to hit pan in anything next month. I don't know if that's even going to be the goal necessarily. I'm going to try. I'm going to really, really try to hit pan in some of these eyeshadows. Obviously in like this guy where there's like 3 pans in like the easier shades to hit, which are shimmers for me. I don't think I'll be able to hit pan, but I can totally expand the pan in some of these. So I'll take some palette shots, some palette pictures and that kind of thing. And maybe we can hit pan. I feel like we could hit pan in some of these ones pretty easily. And then these have, like this YSL palette, these have 2 grams of product in each pan. So it's going to be hard, but that is it. That is everything for this video. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully this isn't like a boring series to watch anymore. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to use these items and kind of just let you know like looks I can come up with. Maybe I should do like individual looks using these palettes and then like a combined look as a video. So like 5 looks in one video. It might be a little lengthy, but let me know. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying healthy, sane, and safe, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye!